It's Gilmore and Donald here, dropping episode 5 of the Sideline Social, Dolphins Tua-surance. First and foremost, we want to say prayers up to that man Tua. It's always scary seeing him go down, especially after what happened in the years past. Hope to see him back out there after a recovery period so the Dolphins can go out there and compete at full strength. Tua, man. It is so insane that just after a year removed, I wouldn't even say a year removed, a couple months removed, after a couple months removed from signing, a big 4-year contract, that people are calling for this man to retire. If his health is obviously in the talks, if his health ain't all there and CTE is a factor, then obviously the man should retire for sure. But
I think we were all worried about it last time he had these injuries too. The same talks happened, and it's just crazy to see it twice with one player. It's tough to see.
Yeah, see him go down and then immediately start, the signs are there as soon as he goes down. Like you can tell with the hands, he kind of can't really walk. He kind of limps off after taking hits like those, especially against the Bengals. He had that real rough one. But overall, go ahead.
No, you're good. I was just saying, yeah, it's tough to see.
But I mean, he's only 26. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, what do you do here? Do you as a man, at 26-year-old, I think you just had a kid or you just got married, one of the two. Do you call it quits? Do you prioritize your health over the game that will pay you millions and millions and that have already paid you $73 million, in career earnings? He just inked that 4-year, $212 million contract. It's like, do you pay for or do you play for the love of the game, or do you love your health more and you call it quits? Because even as a starter, like he wasn't bad. 33 for 20 is his record. Threw for 13,000 passing yards, 83 touchdowns, and 40 picks. But a couple nights ago, this previous game against the Bills, you'd have thought he threw fucking 4 picks a game, man.
Yeah, he didn't look good. He didn't start off that night well. He did not look like the Tua he usually looks like. I would question what happened in practice that week, honestly. Dolphins have had a history with his injuries. Last year, or was it the year before, the back spasms cover?
Yeah.
He just obviously did not look like himself coming into the night.
Yeah, no, he was being Oprah Winfrey out there giving everybody pick sixes. Yeah. It's just tough because, like you were saying, there have been times where the Dolphins as an organization, like we could say, the reason that we have these no affiliated doctors, what are they called? Neurological
specialists.
Fuck, yes. Dude. Don't pay me to spell that.
Oh yeah, me neither.
We have these unaffiliated doctors for reasons like that, because a lot of the team doctors or a lot of the guys that were on the sideline affiliated with the team would be like, no, they're good to go. They're good to play. Tua probably should have been out. He probably should have been done for when, against the Bengals. Like he should. I don't know if he played another snap, but even the game before that, when they had the quote unquote back spasms, like he was probably showing signs where he should have been done, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. And what was it? Julian Edelman's podcast with Amendola. Him and Amendola were just talking about this the other day. On punt returns, they would pick each other up and carry each other to the sidelines and tell each other the score, the time of day, and where they were at because they knew it was happening to each other. And that sideline specialist now is supposed to cut into that and help with that. And something there definitely happened with Tua the other night. Them taking him right to the locker room was a good sign. Just for a fan and other players in the league, it's nice to see they're actually taking care of people these days.
Yeah, but it's tough for the Dolphins. They invest all this money into him, the team around him. They build pieces, they get pieces, they pay pieces. They're like, we're building something here. Then when you're a star, one of your star guys, the real engine that moves that offense, when he goes down, it's just like, then you got to rethink, like, what the fuck are we gonna do? Do we blow it up? Are we rocking with who we got? Because realistically, Tua's only played one full season, and it was in 2023. And then he went out and lost a playoff game, threw for 199 yards, a pick and a tug.
Yeah, I think what you really got to do there is take a look at your roster too. Like, do you believe in the guys you have there? And I think Skylar Thompson's a solid backup. If you ask him to step into a game here and there, he's a decent solution. But if you're actually looking to win this year, I don't know if he's your guy. what he showed in starts is an ability to keep you in games, not necessarily win them when he's playing up against the best. I mean, who did he play? Bills 2 years ago in the playoffs. He kept them in it through 2 picks his rookie year. I mean, can't ask for much more, but we need more right now. They need more right now, and I don't know if he's your guy. I mean, 1 touchdown to 3 picks in his 2 starts, 614 yards. The numbers are average. I mean, definitely better than a lot of other guys in the portal right now.
Yeah,
But
that's fair.
it's I wouldn't trade for somebody of the same skill level. I'd say that, but I think I'd be hunting down the next guy to take us somewhere better,
Yeah, and
especially with the roster they have around him. That is a playoff ready roster.
yeah, and people were saying like, oh, they got Skylar Thompson and Tim Boyle. Like, I've seen Tim Boyle play. He was on the lines for a couple of years, 2 years or three. I think it was 2 years. Started 3 games for us. Lost every single fucking game. And it,
Yeah, I mean, some guys are just backups. They're built that way, and there's nothing against them. Like Tim Boyle's not even a good backup. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I don't think I'd ever trust him stepping in the second or third quarter to finish out a game for us.
fuck no, fuck no. 934 yards and 5 career starts. 0-5 in career starts. 4 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. Like, he is the
Yeah,
definition of ass, dude. Like, you cannot put. It'd be a disservice to the team to tell your team and to tell the media and to tell the players or to tell the fans that we're rocking with Skylar Thompson or Tim Boyle. Like, either of those options. I don't give a fuck who you get. You got to get somebody new. You
yeah,
know what you're going to get out of Skylar Thompson somewhat. I mean, maybe not the biggest of sample sizes, but you know what you're getting out of
yeah.
Tim Boyle, like, for sure.
And I think as a player, Skylar Thompson's limited. I mean, he's not the best thrower of the football. He doesn't have a huge arm. He's decently mobile. From what we've seen in preseason games, they think he's a great processor. They think he can win you football games dinking and dunking, but that's not what this team's designed to do. It's designed to get the ball 30 yards downfield to Tyreek and Waddle. I mean, we could run bubble screens all day, but that doesn't win in the National Football League. I
This
don't
ain't
think
fucking
he's the guy.
college. Yeah, no, hell
Yeah.
no. So we're gonna take a look at some guys that we feel that are in free agency that the Dolphins should take a crack at. So I'm gonna start off with Ryan Tannehill. He's familiar with the Dolphins organization, with the fandom. He has playoff experience. He has starting experience. He's old, obviously at 36. Depending on what you're gonna give up to give him or to get him, not get him, but like get him off the fucking couch because he ain't been playing. Is he gonna take the veteran minimum? Is he gonna be okay with because we're not counting Tua out for the rest of the season. He could come back. Like, is Ryan Tannehill gonna be okay with taking the back seat? When Tua does come back. In his career as a starter, he's 81-70, so it's not an atrocious record. He's won some games outside of Tim Boyle, who hasn't won a single fucking game. He has 34,000 passing yards, 216 touchdowns on 115 interceptions. He does not have a positive playoff record at 2-3, 754 yards on 7 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. But like I said, he is familiar with the organization. Was drafted by them in 2012 out of Texas A&M. He's realistically my best option in the free agent market. Let's just say you go that route. Let's say you don't go for a trade. I just feel like Ryan Tannehill realistically makes sense for the team. He has starter experience. He has playoff experience. And who's to say that 36-year-old geezer still can't sling that ball? Who you got, Donald?
I mean, I like the Ryan Tannehill option. I believe he's probably the most realistic option out there. There's not really a free agent option out there. But I think if you're really going to dig deep and you're going to dig at any possible option, I think the best guy that could possibly be pulled out of retirement. I know Tom Brady's name's swirling around right now, but he's 47 years old. Let's be real here. I don't think he'll ever be bad, but I don't think he wants to come back. I think he's made that decision finally.
I don't know. Did you see him in the booth though? A lot of people were questioning his commentary. A lot of times he looked emotionless, or he kind of looked a little awkward, and he kept keeping an eye on Micah. A lot of people were saying he was just eyeing in on Micah.
Yeah, I mean, I missed that game. I only saw the recap of it, but I don't see him going back to the field. I mean, I think he finally wants to spend some time with family. Now, the one guy I do see that they could pull, I mean, he was reluctant to retire in the first place. He just retired in April, still definitely in football shape. It's Matt Ryan. He's 39 years old. He has a history with Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel was his offensive assistant, his MVP year in 2015 with the Falcons. And I mean, Matt Ryan's record speaks for itself. He's a former MVP player. He's probably the top player you'd want to pull out of retirement right now, still with a tiny bit of tread left on the tires, enough to work with. Not a lot, but if I had to choose one guy to pull, I'd pull him. But I
Yeah,
do not see it as a realistic option. I don't see him coming out, but he was very reluctant to retire. He waited a full year without taking a snap.
yeah, and I mean he's worked with Mike McDaniel's. He's like you said, he's won an MVP in 2015. He's made it to the Super Bowl. Like now, do I think that he's their knight in shining armor? No, but do I think he's better than the options they have rostered? Absolutely. I love
Oh,
Matty
for sure.
Ice. He has a great name like Matty Ice, the badass nickname.
Yeah.
In the eyes of our friend Hale, if you have a good nickname, you're a good player. So I fuck with that pick. Matty Ice is a good pick. Now we're gonna move on to guys we feel like the team should trade for. So I'm gonna let Donald start this one off.
I mean, this one I just had to look at teams and their rosters. I mean, looking at most rosters, they don't have people they're willing to give up. I mean, some people have their set back up, and you're not trading those guys. Like the Chiefs are never going to trade away Carson Wentz if Mahomes, God forbid, Mahomes goes down. That's all they have. So looking at it, I saw Jarrett Stidham as one of the few real options out there. Broncos have another option as backup with Zach Wilson. He played well in the preseason. And Stidham's kind of a wild card. You know, everybody knows he has a big arm. He's been on 3 teams, so there's a realistic shot there at learning the playbook quickly mid-season. But I still don't see him as super proven. I do see him having a better arm as Thompson or Boyle. Think he's probably able to win a couple more games than either of them are. But he's realistically 8 touchdowns to 8 picks, a 1-3 record in his four starts. But that's all I really see out of him. I think he's easy to acquire, and I think he has a chance of learning that playbook pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not, I mean, they've already given up a lot financially for that team to even move forward. So it kind of be hard for them to go out and get big guys, big free agent, or not necessarily free agent, but like big backup guys. And the NFL is slowly starting to realize the importance of a backup. So teams are, like you said, very reluctant to trade, some of their best quote unquote players, but in the backup role.
Yeah, like I don't even think you could stag Jake Browning after the year he had last year filling in for Burrow. He'd be so tough to grab from them.
Yeah,
I'm thinking probably a 3rd round pick at
yeah.
his height.
I mean, that would be a motherfucker and a half. I have Jimmy G, baby. I'm big on experience. Like I said about Ryan Tannehill, starter and playoff experience. Jimmy G, he's that same kind of dude. Was 43-20 over his in his career. Has 15,000 passing yards on 94 tugs and 51 pickles. Kind of sucks, he is the ideal, during his quote unquote prime. He was a game manager. He was not the guy to win you the game, but he was never the guy to lose you the game. The defense, did their part and the offense, with the great offensive pieces around him, they moved as such. He's 4-2 in the playoffs, 962 yards. He does have 4 TDs to 6 pickles, so maybe some of those games were kind of on him. But he also does have some familiar faces. Mike McDaniel's was his offensive coordinator in 2021, and he was on the offensive staff during their Super Bowl run. So, like you said about
Yeah,
Matt Ryan, they do have Mike McDaniel's. Like this isn't
yeah, it's not a
somebody
far
new.
reach. It's not. Yeah,
So I
I
don't.
mean, I like the Jimmy G pick a lot. I see him as a real option there. It is tough with him being the backup at the Rams. Like he's definitely their solid backup, and with Stafford having an injury history, it's
Yeah,
tough for them to let him go. But also, I don't think the Rams are a real Super Bowl contender this year. I mean, they're already injury prone, missing a couple tackles. You could see them loading up on a couple mid to late round selections.
Puka's out too. So like, yeah, they definitely could be adding picks to get depth. I don't think they're going to be giving up a third or a fourth, maybe a
Oh, definitely
fifth,
not.
and if they could sneak off giving up a seventh and shipping off one of their rotational players on maybe a certain side of the ball that the Rams are hurting on, that would definitely help them. But I definitely feel like
Yeah, for
Jimmy
sure.
G is a solid guy to trade for. So we
Yeah, I
got
mean,
go ahead.
I was about to say, I think the Rams are in need of a backup running back, and I know Dolphins are super deep there. That's somewhere they could look at making a swap.
Yeah.
A couple other places, receiver, Dolphins. Who's their fourth receiver? I think.
Chosen. Robbie Chosen.
Yeah, yeah. Rams could definitely use that. So there's a lot of options there for trade bait for the Rams.
Yeah, like who's to say you even have to give up a pick? Like you could keep your draft depth and give up some of these guys that who maybe been there 2 or 3 years, and you're just like, hey, we're not really invested in you like that. Just ship them
Yeah,
off to it,
exactly.
just like they did with Trey Lance. They took him in the second overall pick in the first round, and they weren't getting the production out of him. I was so surprised they got a fourth out of him, but hey, kudos to them. But like you could easily do that,
Yeah.
flip one of these guys for a Jimmy G. And if you can't get Jimmy G,
Yeah.
there's players out there who are third on the depth chart or in the practice squad. But we feel like guys like Jarrett Stidham, guys like Ryan Tannehill, Matt Ryan, Jimmy G. Like we feel that these guys are the best viable option right now if Tua decides to either hang it up or maybe need a little more extended recovery period.
Yeah, I mean, you can throw all types of backups names out there, but who's realistically available? And there's not many out there that are really available. I mean, you would obviously take Browning, you'd take Wentz, you'd probably take
Dobbs is a
Russell
good.
Wilson,
Yep, Russell Wilson.
Dobbs. Yeah, you'd probably take all these guys, but are any of those guys actually available? And I think the answer is no.
No. But that does it for us on the Tua insurance. This is the Sideline Social episode 5. We do plan to get the defensive award video out to you guys as soon as possible. We've just been having some technical difficulties with things, but we do plan to drop the defensive video real soon, hopefully before tomorrow. This video should be coming out tomorrow morning on the 16th. Oh, my bad, on the 15th. So I hope everyone enjoys their football Sunday. Thanks for stopping by. We'll be seeing y'all real soon.